we lose a number of youths to suicide every year.
We lose a number of our youth in Mississippi to suicide. We know that suicide in Mississippi for our young people is our third leading cause of death. And that's pretty consistent over time when you look at the numbers. We average about 50 losses a year. And sometimes those numbers fluctuate a little bit. Sometimes they stay pretty steady. We know that in 2010, 40 of those deaths were our young people. And when I say young people, I mean people that are ages about 15 to 24.
Why do youths commit suicide?
Well, youth commit suicide for a variety of reasons. Oftentimes, after a person dies by suicide, we see that people often go back and question and look for a reason why and try to pinpoint one factor. And many, many times it is not one single factor that led that youth to make that decision. There are usually multiple risk factors that are involved. There are usually multiple warning signs. Very often a person does not choose to take their own lives without having some type of struggle in making that decision. There's a certain level of ambivalence involved where a person is thinking about taking his life or not taking his life and really struggling to make a decision. So there are very often warning signs, and what's very, very important is that people know how to recognize those warning signs, and then they know what to do when they see some of those warning signs in somebody that they may work with, a student, a loved one, anybody that they may be in contact with.
Just in brief, what would one of those warning signs be, or what would several of those warning signs be?
Several of those warning signs could be if a person has some changes in behavior. Let's say maybe you have an individual that used to be very outgoing and now they want to stay at home. They want to isolate themselves from others. So you can see changes in behavior like that. You may see that a person starts to make statements about feeling very hopeless, feeling that nobody can help them, or that they're very alone in their situation. So those can be some warning signs that are often more evident. Sometimes with our teenagers, we think that they're very irritable or very moody, and we want to kind of blow that off like, oh, that's just a teenager. But sometimes that can be a very, very obvious sign of depression. Depression manifests itself and appears to be more irritability with our young people. So we want to say that maybe they're hostile sometimes when that's not the case.